All right, guys. So y'all are Ricky's Taco Pre-Hispanic Foods, as you say in the banner in the background. So
Yeah.
just tell everybody a bit about yourself.
Rike Tacos, pre-Hispanic foods. Just say, that's a good word. People ask us that question a lot about what does pre-Hispanic mean. Pre-Hispanic means it's more when the Spanish and the Aztecs mixed their food for the first time and created, modern Mexican food. When people say authentic means it's from what region you're from. Pre-Hispanic means it's the real stuff. It's like that's when all the real food. That's how all Mexican food was created. Authentic. When somebody says authentic, it ain't real Mexican. It's real Mexican probably where you come from. It depends on what state of Mexico you come from. For pre-Hispanic means where guacamole was introduced to Spanish. Spanish introduced rice, and like black beans, corn was introduced to the Spanish. And, also flour too. Tortillas and peppers, hot sauces. That the Spanish did not knew what kind of foods they ate. The thing is, the Spanish people liked the food and they decided to mix the food into each other. Uh, the Aztec people taught the Spanish people how to make tortillas, and Spanish taught, the Aztecs modern pressers, to make flour, to make bread, like modern technology for them also. But also, we serve our foods, all our foods, our seasonings are fresh and herbs. We sometimes put them in our garden. You haven't seen them. You think they're weeds, but they're not weeds. Some of them is mint, oregano. Some of it is rosemary. Some of it's another type of herb we grow here. Those are fresh picked. And then some of the other fresh herbs we get from a different market. It's a farmer's market up in Atlanta. We get our spices from there. And we use the same spices the Aztecs used to use. We grind them up in our own mortar and everything. And we also make sure all the food tastes like it used to be. Make sure all the condiments are 100% original, and we don't try to mix anything anyways. Many people have told us that mix in with ground beef, but the idea is for you to know the original food that Mexico first time created.
Overall, it's just the food of our ancient ancestors.
Okay, so that's like Hispanic, not Spaniards from Spain. That's just like Aztec and pre Spain.
Yes, sir. That's when the Spaniards and the Aztecs mix their foods together to create modern Mexican food.
Okay, so mixing their foods together. Okay,
Yeah,
cool. So y'all told me that y'all originally from California, right? So
uh,
y'all came over here and moved to Alabama. Well,
Well, I'm from California, but my
right.
brother Anthony he was born here in Alabama. But the reason we moved from California is they live in you have many opportunities in California, but also the prices and the high taxes, and it was expensive living.
Hmm.
When I was born, my parents they live in a room for $900 a month. That's what it was for one room. You know,
Yeah,
Great. They had
even
access.
right now, there's a lot of people moving out of California for the tax purposes and just general
Yeah,
general it's burning to the ground.
the house, but
So
like
y'all just got out of there early.
yeah, we got out a little early, and they moved to Alabama like around 2004, and then my brother Anthony, he was born 2005, and that's when my yeah, that's when my parents deciding about opening a restaurant just like in California they had many authentic, not authentic, but pre-Hispanic restaurants that had around there, like taquerias. They serve tacos original way, just like in Mexico. Then the other thing is that many of the American people realize how the real taco looked like, how it tasted like, and they also like the spices we use. They realize what real Mexican tacos look like. Not just tacos, taquerias made. They also made shrimp plates. That they also made fajitas. All the original meats you're supposed to use. They never use any source of ground meats, anything like that. The only ground meats they used was probably chorizo, which is smoked sausage that they used to make chorizo taco. So my parents, when they moved to Alabama, they had the idea of opening one. So ever since they moved, they've been saving up for ever. And the thing is, we had a dream about opening a restaurant when I was 15. But the thing is, opening a restaurant, requires a lot of money to invest. So we decided talking about a food truck. So when we're thinking about a food truck, we got our LLC started. And, we're thinking about, let's go ahead and open a restaurant. But then, we said, no, food truck would be better because in California, there was a bunch of them. It was really popular also in Texas too. So first time we had a food trailer, which was a yellow one. But once we found out, what the health department required, and so we sold it off, and we were, saving probably a little bit more to open a restaurant. But, we decided, let's do the food truck first. Nobody in Alabama probably had a, taco truck, anything like that. Ever seen?
No,
Nothing.
absolutely not.
And so the thing is, we decided to open that. We said once we bought the red food truck, we saved for another year, to build a commissary because by law you're supposed to have a commissary for your food truck. You're supposed to get another restaurant, but other restaurants wouldn't let us, so we decided to build our own commissary. And so that's how our business was started.
All right. So I lost y'all for a bit there. We came back in around where you're talking about fajitas, but that's all good. Just we didn't, there weren't any hiccups y'all need to worry about. But definitely, yeah, no. So there's not, like you said, there's not a lot of taco trucks or honestly anything. There's maybe a couple of family restaurants left. I know the restaurant adjacent to the gas station, they've been trying to build that for ever since I was in high school. I remember being in elementary school driving up. It's like, oh, they did a little bit more work on that. When are they ever going to open up? And they opened up like after I graduated in 2013. And then we had Sutton's down towards Elamville just a bit more. They were a pretty big hit, and then they shut down. And then y'all just come out of nowhere with a food truck. And like you said, no one's really ever seen too much of a food truck except for maybe there's like a barbecue place in Ozark, and he bounces back from Ozark and Dothan every now and then. But then I go up to Boston this winter or this summer, and they're everywhere. Like, I really did not know how prevalent these food trucks were. Do y'all think after seeing your success, which, I mean, I don't think anyone will ever deny that your food truck has not been a success. Do you think that's going to be something that's a lot more prevalent? They're going to break off of the restaurant just because of the high startup cost? Do you think y'all have started pretty much kind of a food truck revolution, if you would?
Well, to answer this question honestly, yes, I think we have started a food truck revolution. Many people started seeing how popular these food trucks are because, if you look on Google, 90% of people will go to food trucks because they said the waiting time wouldn't be as much longer. Your maximum waiting time for food truck is an hour. You go to a restaurant, waiting hours probably like 2 hours, 3 hours. People only go to the restaurant just sit down, but they don't complain about the time. You go to the food truck, many people do complain about an hour or something, but hours like maximum of the waiting time. But the prices they're not really of a difference much, but it depends the products we use. But yes, we have started food truck revolutionary because we have many people who have open food trucks. Like barbecue. We have seen more barbecue food trucks, hot dog food trucks, burger food trucks. Now, I don't know if you know when Ernie's food truck. He probably motivated some Dothan people to open the food trucks too. He has a burger, hot dog food truck. And the thing is, many people start open, Philly steak sandwiches, food trucks. We tried getting to Foster Fest one time, but I tried to get some information to get in there, but it's hard time to get some information. Somebody to provide us there. We were thinking about going, but we're so busy here that people don't want us to leave from one location to another.
Oh, no. I'm sure the entire city of Ariton is like, you will stay in that front yard and we will stop up traffic. Don't you dare go anywhere else. We don't want to go anywhere else. We don't want to leave Ariton to go get food because, again, because normally you'd have to drive like to McDonald's or something in Ozark, and that food's it's cheap, but it's not the best quality.
Sure.
As opposed to yours, it's like you can just we can text you, and then wait the 30 minutes y'all ask us to wait, and then pick it up immediately and drive off as soon as we pay. So no, I am 100% sure that people don't want you to go anywhere.
And it's also really efficient for the rural people, like many farmers. We drive all the way to Ozark, Dothan, and try to eat Mexican restaurants. But the thing is, they're eating at kind of like Mexican grills. Those Mexican grills are considered as Tex-Mex restaurants. Many people try to go to where they serve real Mexican food. The thing is, they use the authentic name, which means from the region they're from. And it's really efficient for more ranchers, because many restaurants serve ground beef. And when they come to me, they ask for the same thing. I say, we do not serve ground beef, but we serve steak, and it's quality steak. I told them quality steak strips, and the first thing they believe. But the thing is, I told them, you try this, it will change your life forever. The thing is, they try it and they ask for more. They said this is like the best meat they ever tried, of well seasoned. Many cattle ranchers like that. Some of them, try for meat, sell them meat, anything like that. Also for chicken farmers too, work chicken houses. Instead of going all the way to McDonald's, they come in, get their lunch quick, and go back to work. Also for the factories like Arcanum and Quality Fab, really efficient for them too. Since their lunch break is not as long, and so we have many support from them. So also many people, tired of eating the same foods, kind of like gas station food. They're looking for something to eat. Many people say that not everybody can eat the same food every day. Well, I can tell you that people can eat all the same food every day because I have customers every day come and get their lunch because they have nowhere else that tastes better, well-seasoned food than our truck.
No, absolutely. Like my wife, she'll grab I'm sure she's had just about everything you offer on the menu, and I myself will just grab the quesadilla just by itself. And I mean, for people who know me, I don't like onions. Me and my brothers, we really don't do onions. And then I remember one day I forgot to tell y'all no onions, and I'm just like, you know what? I just don't care. I'll run with it. And then I bite into it. And I don't know if there are different species of onions or what y'all did, what witchcraft you imbued to these onions, but I didn't get that I didn't get any of the normal, like, I wouldn't call it disgust, but the drawback that I do whenever I eat something else that has onions on it. So in all honesty, your food is the only food that I will eat that has onions in it to begin with. And I think that is a testament to how you prepare your food and its actual quality.
Yeah, well, most food that we make contains like traces of onions because onions enhances flavor of just about every food. And when I cook, I usually, because I'm the main cook, I've been cooking ever since we opened, and the onions we use, I mean, it ain't like you're gonna find them anywhere else. And I forgot what I was saying, but let's wrap. But
all right. You talking about the onions?
Yeah, I don't know. I forgot what I was going to say.
That's perfect. That's perfectly fine. But yeah, no, it's like I said, a very superior quality food to find somewhere in the middle of Ariton. Like I'm sure no one expects it, and when they do, they're just like, "Why don't y'all come to our place?" And then the whole town is just like, "No, no, you're not taking our food truck from us. It's staying right here." So have y'all had the opportunity to sell at football games? Because on one hand, I'm sure you would make a lot of money, but on the other hand, I'm sure Ariton doesn't want that hole in its budget.
Well, like you said in the first two things, Ariton does not want the budget of that. See, we had invited by the superintendent, Mr. Ben Baker. He was thinking about it, but the concession also has to make money, to make profit to the football field maintenance. And the thing is, the people in the football center that said, well, not all the time they want to eat burgers and hot dogs every Friday night, chips and cheese nachos. Many people want Whole Foods to watch the game. Kind of like you go to NFL stadium, baseball stadium, you get a hot dog, French fries, get a pretzel. As long as you get a burger meal at a baseball field, well, in a baseball game. But if you ever gone to Montgomery's Biscuits game, you can get a meal like a hamburger with fries and some other stuff. Many fans want that, but many fans don't know. At high schools, you don't have those kind of opportunities that happen. I mean, it's only because it's the time of games is not as long, as pros.
Yeah. And it's not really their fault, but to make money, I'm sure they have to buy like the 50-40 pack Great Value burger, and it's just not going to compete to actual shredded steak. Like regardless of who's selling it, like they have to do that because they have to make money to keep up the football field like it is, but at the same time I might just miss a quarter of the game, risk losing my parking spot to drive up to y'all if y'all sell during the game. Like I as a customer will consciously make that decision.
Yes, I had many people done that before. During halftime, some of them lose their parking spot and come up there, get their food, go back in the game. People are like, "What are you eating?" and those new people from those teams come visit. Like these sometimes see some of them have friends from the other team, and they say you got to go up here after the game. But the thing is we close on Friday nights 9 or 9:30, and some of them still make it to grab their food. You know, sometimes they tell me to stay longer, but the thing is if I stay longer, I'm not fully sure if people are going to come more longer than later of the night, because also we got to prepare for the next day. We got to be ready.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you are both currently students at Ariton High School, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, what is that like? Because, like you said, Anthony, like you said, you're the cook, you're the head dude, and Ricky, I'm sure you're the one that signs all the checks and the bills, right? That's what I've been led to believe.
Yes, also that, yeah, but also I'm in charge of, seeing the sales of the everyday sales, making sure, we're charging correct taxes every day. And at the end of the month, I make sure that all taxes are paid, make sure that all the foods and products, I make sure that all the spices are the correct ones we're supposed to use, the right onions, right tomatoes, all the right vegetables, the meats. I make sure that every single time I go and pick them up, I make sure that the right ones, you know, I make sure the price. I make sure how much we're going to spend a week, how much we're going to invest for the next, week. We make sure that customers feel happy. Having the cashier sometimes, or I help my brother out to cook, and I help the people who are outside the window the first time trying, explaining to them how our foods are made, what comes on the foods. Many people, I like to say this for many people who come and try us first time, even though you're not like onions, just like Mr. Just like Mr. Teal said, if you try them, it's going to change your life forever, because this is going to be the only place you can try onions. I mean, I know you might be real picky about them, but meat and cheese. I mean, that's kind of simple, but I mean, you're trying somewhere where you're nowhere else you're going to try better food. So, I
No.
mean, I recommend to get it all the way for the first time. There's some things you don't like, some things you do like. You ask me what you tell me what you think about it, and next time you order, I make sure what I put what you want. But also, many people want lettuce in their food, but the thing is, lettuce, romaine lettuce is expensive. Also iceberg lettuce, it's at $2 a head. Even though we order by case, it's really expensive. To put a lettuce and burritos and everything. That we gotta buy. The thing is, pre-Hispanic foods, not all foods have lettuce. That's the problem too. But
Well, don't feel bad. They don't really want lettuce. They just want to feel like they're getting something healthy, because that stuff that's not recommended for Weight Watchers. They're trying to feel good about themselves. Don't feel too bad.
All right, back to the topic since the sidetrack. But yeah, I'm in charge of all the cooking, the meats. I hand slice all the meats and chop the vegetables by hand. I'm in charge of also making sure all the meats are cooked correctly, making the food. I've learned several various ways of how to prepare the food. Usually, before when we first started, I had to do like one meal at a time, and then but when we're really busy, like I know what times get busy, so I get prepared for it. And so when I see all the notes, I start tossing the meat, and like I can get up to like 5 notes at a time. So that way, because I know how people feel when you have to wait a long time at restaurants, and I don't want to make a lot of people wait. But the thing is, doing that many orders coldens our grill, and so that's why sometimes your order will be like 30 minutes, because the grill has to reheat to prepare the proper food. And
Yeah.
yeah, we used to have to cut like quarts of Tupperware like vegetables before, but now I have to like every night chop buckets, like 5-gallon buckets of tomatoes, onions, lettuce, and stuff. And well, like being a student at Harrison, I have to have like good management skills to be able to pull everything off, because I also have, since I'm in an honors class, I have to make sure I get my homework and my study time in time as well, and be able to attend over the food truck, since we're still showing our cook how to cook, and have him do everything correctly. So I still have a good quality. And also, like if you want some really, 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 really good food, come on the weekends, because that's the time I cook just about every single day, well, every single hour of the day. And so yeah.
yeah, and also
Yeah,
for me,
because
your high school students. Like you run a business and your high school students. It's like a TV show. How like it's like no one else in the entire town that to my knowledge when I was in high school or at present is running not only business but such a widely accepted successful business. So what is that like? Like I mean like you got to be walking into that school with like your head above the clouds of where normally kids have their heads in the clouds because
Like, a lot of my friends are
how
asking like
weird
for like,
is it?
well, they're always asking like to bring them food, but then I always tell them I don't
Of course they
want
are.
to because I don't want them like to reheat the food because I like serving fresh food and stuff, and
No,
they're always
no.
asking me for a coupon or like or
Of course
bring
they are.
every time I bring food over there. I mean, I just might as well not eat because they snag it away from my desk.
Oh, it's gone. It's gone.
Yeah.
Because ever since we got to because when we bring lunch, or like a mom once made us like take lunch, we brought one day I brought one of those Mexican sandwiches to school, and the thing is, people were asking what is it. I don't know. I'll let you try it. So I cut it in half. The thing is, when they tried it, each
That's
of
a
my
mistake.
they started taking a bite of it, and they like, wanted to buy the other piece from it and said, no, I got to eat some lunch too. But
Yep.
also many students,
No.
they think running a business is easy, but it's not. I mean, to do this, to be honest, for high school, it's really highly motivated. Our parents were always hard on us. We never went, kind of like to the peanut fair, or any kind of fairs. We had to skip on, vacations because, we had to save up, to open a business because, that was our dream to do this.
Yeah, because ever since we were little, like our parents would tell us like one day we will open a restaurant and stuff. And so ever since when we were little, we would always take the littlest jobs with our parents, like go do something and save up. And we missed out on a lot of things just so we could go and work, so that way we could have a better future for ourselves and our other little siblings, and well, all of us. And so every little job that there ever was, like when I had the age to go and work with my dad or go do like any sort of work, we would take it up to the age like, where I was 10. I started doing more and more, uh, and so soon he didn't start going work anymore because I could do it faster and better, more efficient. And but yeah, we spent hours doing work and still had to get in school. We missed a lot of festivals. From what I can remember, the last time like we went to the fair was probably like when I was like 6 or 5.
Yeah, we went to the movies. I was like 8. My brother was like
Yeah, 6
5
is
years old or 6 years old. The only movie we saw was probably Kung Fu Panda when it first came out. The most incredible, fun thing we ever done before. Go to the movies. See Kung Fu Panda because we always been telling our parents, we want to see Kung Fu Panda. And so when it first came out, we went and see it. We liked it, but we had fun. But also, our parents throughout years, they were hard on us. They taught us how to be humble. They taught us, how to save. Don't listen to other people what they say. You got to keep moving on, keep moving on, keep moving on, because they said that
well, people
also
always
this will teach us in life. He said one day we're open to the business. You can probably be one day one of those people on TV. Speaking about how you got to this success. What it took. How much work that it took for what things have taught you. Because when I started working with my dad, he made me get up at 5. Getting up at 5 is not the prettiest thing to do. Taught me, he said that's where you gotta go to school. You gotta make good effort. Because if not, you're gonna have to be someone like me. Getting up every day in the morning,
working for someone else and
working
like
for someone
working in the
else.
sun and stuff. And so that really taught us
Mhm.
we really have to like have high expectations for ourselves so we can make it out there in the real world. And so yeah, I mean, for a kid to be waking up that early just to help the parents, so we could all have a better life. I wouldn't say that we were like in poverty and stuff because we used to live in a 2-bedroom trailer. And it wasn't like the best conditions, but yeah, we were still able to make it out of there. And
Nobody went hungry. Anything we had, everything what we needed. We never went out electricity. Never we paid all bills on time. When I was like 12, I took a job at the feed store down here. Many ranchers come and get their foods. They always told me how you like a 12-year-old can pick up a 50-pound bag of bull feed, salt, and everything. I said, well, I worked with my dad before. He taught me many things. I was really quick at that job, carrying, because I know when I first got there, I had to know where all the feed was going. Sometimes all the sacks were the same thing, but the tags were different. One time gave a rancher the wrong kind of feed, he said the cow got sick. So yeah, it was my blame.
Ooh.
Yeah, but also it taught us some people say like it's like you're privileged just because you have all this money, but I wouldn't call it privilege. I would call it work privilege, because with all that you're able to like go higher up in society and be able to uh, go in and like try to motivate others. That it's not like about like it's because you were born like at the wrong time or nothing. No, I'd consider it work privilege. And when also like we're little and we really wouldn't know about all this like uh, adult stuff, but when we were little, a lot of older people would be amazed about how me and my brother would conduct all of our stuff that our parents needed, since they really didn't speak good English. Like we had a Lara once, like he said he was impressed because he's never seen like an 8-year-old and a 10-year-old going over there and speaking to them instead of a fully matured adult.
Yes, and also, what also motivated us, I admire many people who are successful, kind of like our age, but they're probably in their teens, like like Bill Gates and
Almost.
Elon Musk, all of them, some of them were teenagers, develop on, new ideas, like Elon Musk, and his brother, they were in their teens, living in an office, and it's left in the office. Each one, took turns working on, the PayPal software, you know, when they sold it to eBay, for I don't know how many $1 million, but, that shows, two of them made it. I mean, they rented an office, they slept in the office, they ate in the office, they were humble because they never gave up. They knew that their program was supposed to be successful until eBay bought it from them, and they were happy. That continued for them. When they saw money, people thought they were going to spend it, but the thing is, when you have that money, you keep on going. Don't worry about it. Keep on going. You know what success you have to go through. Keep on showing others that you can do it. You have new ideas. You know. Also,
Yeah, also like the amount of times I went to school without snack and I would look at the other kids. Well, I wouldn't really mind because I was kind of used to it. But like I told myself when I'm older, if I ever have another sibling, I would make sure that they would have their snack and stuff. Because I would usually like bring like some like off-brand crackers from the home, put them in a little bag. While right now like we're letting our little like siblings go and give them money so they can buy whatever they want. But we also got to show them so they won't be too spoiled, uh, that you have to take care of money, like uh, so you can buy yourself whatever you want, but yet still be able to save up. And so I always told myself like I don't want my other siblings to live the life that we lived. If we want it to be better for them, and like also my dad always told me and my mom like study and study and study because I always felt bad when they had to wake up in the morning and do all this stuff while I sometimes I could sleep a little bit longer, but then all I wanted from my parents when I'm older is just to be able to watch them like maybe rent like buy a house somewhere like in a peaceful place and just have them live there worry free or doubt free.
Another thing is, some people tell us in school, when are you going to rest? When are you going to take a break, from this? When are you going to take a time off? Thing is, what people don't understand about time off and break is when you take a time off, you don't have time off. When you take a break, you don't have no break. Because when you have a break, you're not relaxing, sitting down, sitting on your phone. That's not how it works. When you have a break, it's like you're still worrying about what you have to do next for your business. You gotta make sure you still have enough things. You worry about some other things. We gotta sell this. We don't sell this sometimes. This is gonna go bad. You know, Even the health inspector of Dow County says y'all need a break. I mean, y'all, really good and successful. So when are you ever gonna take a break? I tell him, I told her, the break's gonna come. When the business is going well. But even though we took a break, it's not never going to happen. When I take a break, I'm not going to be, sitting down or anything. I got to be watching over the workers, what they're doing. But, people need to understand that, when you're taking a break,
Yeah,
it's
kids.
not about, fooling around anything. It's, you got to make sure your work is done at least before.
Oh yeah, all of our friends are always asking us why do you work so much and stuff. But then like they're always inviting me to stuff and I'm like, no, we gotta work, I gotta sustain our family and stuff and plan for whatever's next.
Yeah, don't listen to them. Those people are off the mindset of the 9 to 5 job where second shift covers when they get off work. Y'all don't have that. Y'all don't have that opportunity. Y'all don't have that privilege. Yeah, they just don't listen to them. Because you do have to worry about, well, today we're done, but what are we going to do tomorrow? There's no supervisors to plan that out. You are the supervisors, which is that is the amazing thing. You are so young, you are so responsible. Like you have this work ethic. Like 100 people, like I couldn't name any off the top of my head, but if you had a crowd of 100 people, I guarantee you 90% of them would absolutely love to have their own business, but at the same time they did go to those movies. They did go to the Peanut Festival. They may have had that ambition and that drive, but it didn't really start until they started waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work. And they're like, oh no, this is bullshit. Like, I don't want to do this. Like, what about that dream I had when I was younger? And then they start like me, like I'm starting at 26 with this podcast. It's like, it necessarily wasn't available, but something was there. Like instead of starting where I'm at, I could have started where you're at and probably be a lot bigger than I am right now. But no, y'all know exactly what y'all are doing. Don't let them talk you otherwise.
Many clubs in school, have like SGA, FFA,
Mhm.
there's good leadership in us. We try to run for them, but we also got to pick the ones we're going to have time with. So some colleges recommend you got to have some type of leadership in the club, participate in the club. But the thing is, clubs require community service stuff. But I always wonder if colleges have. If I wonder, they can accept in their resume about a person who went to high school, wakes up about 6 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning, to be sure prepare everything for your business and everything. But teacher told me you should put that in your resume.
Absolutely.
They said they will accept you without even an ACT score because they want somebody probably in college, running their business program. You know, I got probably like UAB. My cousin goes there and he said he met a college professor who does business and entrepreneurship, political science. I'm vice president of the FFA. I could have done president, but I have this business to attend to. Many people say, I'm very patriotic. People say you should be a politician. I don't know about that. I mean, Donald Trump is a businessman. He's a politician, but I don't know how he does it. But, you know, many people say,
Yeah,
you'd rather
because
have strong leadership. We should run for those kind of positions. But at the same time, my leadership's here in my business. I have to take care of the whole time. I had a mess meeting today for FFA, but my teacher understands, my priorities here too. you know, I gotta take care of the family. She was fine with it. There was no problem with it. She comes here, eat once in a while. She supports us really well.
yeah, and like I said, like when we enter stuff where like adults would enter, high-end offices and like saying what we're doing there and like where are our parents and stuff, they're always amazed when we tell them that like we're the owners and we run a business, and they're always like, oh wow, for real, and like they keep like questioning look in their eyes like whether or not to believe us, and
Yeah, but
Oh
once we
no, you're the two 5-year-olds that are standing on top of each other's shoulders with a giant trench coat and the frickin' Rascals movie. It's like it's like these people aren't here to legitimately get a loan. They're pulling my leg. Like, when should I call them out on it? But no, then I'm sure Ricky here slaps the book down and it's got his name on it. And they're like, oh, so they are, and I've just been an idiot this whole time.
Yeah, many people get surprised. They think we're playing around, but we show up with a straight face, and they're smiling about. At one time, was joke. I got a lady scared probably one time at the front desk. I said, "Is there a problem, ma'am?" She said, she started shaking like, no, no. And then manager comes back from there. She's like, "What's the problem?" It's like I said nothing. I'm just playing around. And then she
Y'all
started
ain't taking us seriously. There is a problem. No, go hit them with it. No, because they're like these are the same age as my kids. My kids are sneaking home at 10 o'clock at night, and these guys are asking for business advices and loans. It's like something's not right here. That's
laughing.
that's on them.
Yeah. Also, when we go to a bank, as a young age, you can't get a loan, in the state of Alabama till you're 19. By the turn 18, still gotta wait one more year. The thing is, it's always better to work hard, than to borrow money the whole time. But you always have questions, just to make sure you don't fall in the wrong financial problems. Many people always tell me, why are you always talking about money, financials, I mean, it's all part of businesses, Entrepreneurs, not always, they can check with business. Some of them open real estate, businesses, to make people live in there. In order to be an entrepreneur, it doesn't take, you going to the movies, anything, like you said, you got to wake up every morning. You got to learn, many things about, spending and finance and, loaning. You got to learn discipline too. You got to be responsible. Sometimes not every entrepreneur, not everybody's responsible enough. Everybody can make a mistake one time, but those mistakes teach you in life, not make them again, keeps you going over and over again.
Yeah, you learn from all your mistakes that you made, and like us, we know how to do a lot of stuff based from all the jobs that we have. We know like we can be an electrician if we want, a plumber, a construction worker. We can like take good care of like anything like software and stuff. Because throughout when I was little, I would always learn about every little single thing that I could of how to do this and how to do that.
Yeah, many people ask me, I told them, I'm a cook. And look, we do carpentry too. I can cut your bushes. I can plant your flowers. I told them, I can cut your grass. I can pressure wash. Your pool around. We told them we're everything. So I know how to cut a tree. We know how. Also in the farm and right there in the feed store, many people ranchers are surprised. How I know every size of a washer. Of a screw, anything they needed. It's like, how do you know all this? I don't know. I mean, I only been here for a week and I know everything already was all around the store.
Well, yeah, and like to be a little kid knowing like all of these big words and like trying to translate into your parents, and they're always questioning like, are you
Or
sure?
might
Like,
not even exist.
yeah, or like, are you?
Like I have a Vietnamese wife, and like her parents will say some stuff to me where it's like a word, but for it to be translated, it's a sentence because that one word has such a large definition that where they put it into a word, but that necessarily doesn't exist in English.
Yeah,
So I know exactly what you're talking about. It's like I can only imagine how difficult it must be, like especially at such a young age.
Yeah, usually, our English teachers, on the English classes, that's probably the hardest part because usually I always take that class seriously because as a, business person, entrepreneur, me and my brother, we gotta learn perfect vocabulary because, you always hear in motivational speeches, YouTube everything. Those entrepreneurs use strong vocabulary words I have never heard of. So when I take English class, I try to take it seriously because I try to learn more, correct grammar when I'm speaking. Like right now, probably ain't perfect at all, but also the vocabulary. Whereas, also my history teacher, she teaches on civics, Israelis. I asked her about, I admire some politicians too, when they speak, on TV, they use the strong vocabulary words. They don't use like words that we use every day. They use the strong vocabulary, what it means to all meanings at all. I told them like these people, when they go to college, do they make them study vocabulary words or they gotta train and they gotta attend, to say all of this? And she says probably one of those things they might do, but it's always better, take your English classes, seriously. I sometimes go in the dictionary or when I see a video on TikTok, YouTube, let's use a strong vocabulary word, I look it up and what it means, and I write it, write on a piece of paper what it means, have like a chart, all these strong vocabulary words.
And apart from that, we also have to learn two different vocabularies: a Spanish vocabulary and an English vocabulary.
Yes.
And then when they're talking to us, I mean, we have to remember what they're saying. And sometimes when I was little, I used to like have to like tell the person on the other side of the phone like to hold on for just a bit while like I try to find this word like in the computer and stuff, because I'm pretty sure a lot of like these people who work behind the phones are pretty surprised to hear like a little squeaky voice talking to them, like telling them there's something wrong or
makes their day.
Like, yeah, and they're always saying like, "Is your mother there?" And I'm like, "Yes, man, I'm translating for them." And then like there's various words I've had to learn because in English and in Spanish because I didn't know what they were talking about, and I always get lost. And that's yeah. And to be honest, like English is one of the hardest subjects because the way you use like nouns in English and then in Spanish is whole different.
Yeah, they're speaking two languages, at the same time, translating, that's a strong thing, when you have a translator translating for you, their English is never going to be perfect. You're going to try the best to translate it.
Yeah, because we're always like, sometimes we stutter and like when, like right now, I have to like speak my words slowly because as well, like I'm already like thinking in Spanish and then trying to say what I'm gonna say. And all these words like have to come up in like proper order. So like that's like the only subject that like me and my brother aren't good at, but we like try to have our best in it.
Yeah, and that was another thing. Having a bilingual wife. That was something else that I learned. It's like you're actually thinking in language, and then you have to think of what those words are in English, translate them to the proper type of grammar, and then say it out loud.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that in itself as a concept fries my head. Like I don't even want to think of what that would be like. But just for y'all to like, because right now I couldn't tell. It's like I think you had that one little thing where you had to like rethink about how to say one word and that was it. But I honestly, a lot of people I don't think understand that process where you're thinking in your own language, translating it, making it grammatically correct, and then speaking it out loud without any like preconceived accents that you have already.
Yeah, well, like me, I don't know what you call like, I'm bilingual, and then I can speak another different language. I can speak like a really like ancient Aztec language, but
Okay.
only yeah, I learned it from when we went to Mexico. We took a trip over there, and well, when we took a trip over there, I mean that really like inspired us because seeing all these people like uh, living in all these like houses, like barely like stakes are standing up, and so
Mm-hmm.
like it taught us like to be humble and like to accept everything that's given to us, even though like you wish you had something. Like I would always see like all my friends like the latest stuff, and then I'm over here still playing with some like
Yeah. Whenever we had a Nintendo, we were still playing, the Game Boy or Mario. That was like the funnest thing. It was battery power, one of those Duracell powers, double A. We always go Dollar General, replace those batteries every 2 days. My brother would have it, the first half of the day, then we'll have it. That was probably the funnest video game we ever had. Then my dad, he brought us an Xbox, the old ones, probably the 2000s that came out, those big fat controllers.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, there was two controllers. So my parents said,
Game changer.
he's like, now y'all don't gotta fight. We had FIFA 2005. We had Madden 2005 also. We had Mortal Kombat 2003. That's like the best game probably we ever played of fighting. Had different skills. We had the Terminator. We had Medal of Honor. But the most fun game was probably Mortal Kombat and Terminator. That was like the best games we ever played. And Mario.
Yeah, but besides that, I mean, I wouldn't say I would be jealous because like I saw all these other kids like having all these high-end latest stuff, and then I'm over here sitting like wondering why I don't have it. But then, uh, I would always realize like it's because we need to work for it and stuff, and going to all these like when we were little book fairs, well, we would always save up money, like share
Oh
it.
my God, don't get me started on the book fairs.
Yeah, we save up money like every summer
Ugh.
those book fairs.
Just like we could buy something. Like me, uh, from first to sixth grade, every single day, if you gave me a book when I was little, I mean, I could
My brother was a bookworm. Okay,
like
he
this
like
book,
finished
I
reading
could
book.
read these like 3 times thicker, maybe in a day, because that's all I would do. Once I get it into a book, I mean, I would just stay in it, any type of book, and that's really like how they say like books are knowledge. They really are because it teaches you like different words, and it depends on the way that you use like what books teach you and stuff. And so yeah, like all the way from first to sixth grade, I was always like the AR winner, surpassing everybody by like 300 points and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Hey,
like they
don't
had
stop it. Don't
yeah
stop it because people in high school, people who graduate high school and then just act like they don't need to keep learning or reading books. So you're on the right track.
yeah when we were little, like every time they called out the AR winners, they wouldn't even like they would just keep going on with the work because they wouldn't be surprised because I won it every single year, every single 9 weeks, and they'd be like, oh, well, and they wouldn't even try. I had this one friend, he tried beating me, like he was reading all these Harry Potter books because they're worth a lot of points,
Oh,
and
yeah, I remember.
I read the whole series in like 4 days, and well, it took him like a whole month, and then he got like mad at me more so because I beat
Of
him.
course you did.
Well, because I'm always like I take things seriously when it comes to something like they're always like don't take stuff seriously. I'm like, well, like I take it.
Yeah, when I read books, I was never a big fan of chapter books. That was like the most boring books I ever saw.
He's more of like a
But
picture book guy.
when I got seventh grade, when I got to Mr. Brown's class, we started reading a novel. Novels were probably the most amazing books I ever read. There's no chapters, no interruptions, nothing. It's like a
Mm-hmm.
big movie with like movie nonstop, and always like novels. crime scene novels, science fiction novels. I like those war novels too. But the most the best novel I read was probably about it was I forgot what was it called. Oh, it was about an Irishman coming to America, starting this business. I think it was on belt making. People make fun of the belts design he would make, but then the design became a fashion. I think in like 50s or 60s, I think everybody wanted them. And he said, even though make fun of you, you always be humble. You keep on going until it hits, where everybody's gonna want one. Everyone wants this, you know. And I forgot what was the book called, but I read it in that grade. Also I keep on reading novels. I read inspirational novels. Soldiers. Also read about
Well, yeah, the good thing
science
about this
fiction.
is that whenever like it comes to, like reading all these different types of paperworks and stuff and all these instruction manuals, I'm always able, because every time like we buy a new like equipment or something comes in the mail, I'm always like the first one to read it because I always know what it's saying and stuff. Sometimes I'm always helping my brother over here because he like doesn't understand what it means, and because in Spanish there's different ways to translate these words and they all have a different meaning.
My brother had more of an advantage to learn English because when I first started, kindergarten, I was probably I didn't even know a single word, what teacher was saying, anything like that. You know, I had a lot of help. Felt really embarrassed, and all the teachers helping me, how to say words and everything. There's a teacher who used to call me Teresa, and he took me out of class, read a book, and some other place, other people, wouldn't see me, how to read, took me like to the probably like to the fifth grade, that's when I started, my English started getting a little bit more fluent. But my brother had the advantage because I was reading, and at home he was like 3 years old. He was learning, he was reading those little stories.
Yeah,
And,
because
and it made it easier for him to learn English. So when he got to kindergarten, it wasn't a problem for him.
well, apart from that, I finished preschool early, like really early. I mean, like maybe like 10 weeks into preschool, and then I was out because I passed everything that they had. And sometimes I get like mad when people start asking me like for help, because like I usually like try to learn everything by myself. And yeah, because when I was little, like right now I'm helping like my little brothers and siblings with homework, and sometimes I tell them like when I was little, no one would help me because Ricky had his own problems with his homework because he really didn't understand it, and then no one could teach me all these stuff. Like my mom or my dad didn't really know English that well, so they couldn't really tell me, and so I started learning more and more. And so like in kindergarten, all these kids will look at me because they would be surprised of how the heck I finished all the work there was and was already playing. And so they would just get mad at me, like saying I cheated and stuff, and like all these other stuff, just because I got to play with the blocks like 15 minutes earlier than they all did. And like in class, like I'm always like trying to like do stuff, and then when someone comes up to me for like answers, I'm like, okay, oh well. But yeah, I'm always like trying to, like, you got to be able to do stuff on your own. Like one time we were doing an experiment in lab, and we had to dissect a rat, and so they were getting mad at me because I'm like, because they're telling me to hurry up and stuff, and I'm like, okay, but I'm doing this on my own. I'm reading this, and then I told them, okay, here, you try it. And the first thing they tell me is, what do I do? How do I cut it?
I love it.
None of y'all were telling me how to do it and stuff. I had to like learn it by myself. No, but they always like thought like.
And the greatest gift we had from our parents, when we couldn't understand, we needed help for homework, is, our parents saved up, around $800 to buy us a desktop, a 2010, HP desktop. One newest that came out, like
Game changer.
Yes, and he's like, the thing is, my mom, when she was in high school in Mexico, then she came over here, she took some high school lessons. She took a computer class, so she know how to program a computer, set it up, do the internet and everything, And my mom, she downloaded us, the Google thing and the internet thing. And the thing is, the school, the good thing will teach us about, how to go through the internet and, find things. And so we'll go on Google, search up all these words, what they mean and everything. That was like the greatest help. That was like the most appreciated gift we ever had, And for Christmas, technically we got that for Christmas, in 2010, But that was the biggest help we ever had from them, actually, buy us a computer.
Yeah, like me, I don't really like asking people for help. Probably like masculinity for like everybody. Like a man won't like stop on the side of the road and ask like another person's like where's the directions to here? You want to find it by yourself.
Yeah.
Well, and like I try to learn stuff. I mean, I do it by myself because but like there's like some kids like in my class like they're like always asking for the teacher for help, and I'm like used to not asking the teacher for help, and like I'm stuck in a problem and I try to figure it out, and I raise my hand and call her before she gets there. I solved it like, and
Yeah. Also, like in our in one class, we had career prep. We had to take those, certifications from Microsoft and everything. That was like my favorite thing to do on computers. Like I always be done first. Teacher always said to not go ahead, or she said it was really rude about doing it. But I'm like, yeah, but you're taking so slow. You're not hurrying up, and I'm trying to advance because this software is fun to go through. Fun to mess around with. PowerPoint. Word was probably hard, but then PowerPoint was easy. The teacher didn't like it. She struggled with it. Sometimes I gotta come up there to the teacher and show her how to do a test. There was one about a video, how to upload it, and then you had to trim it, then you had to edit it. Make sure it changed the animations. That was the hardest task. Even today we got to take another Microsoft thing, get recertified. She said today we didn't have to do nothing. Some people didn't finish. I said if I can go ahead and do the other test. She said no. But I try to help myself, so I listen to her.
Yeah, but one of my
I remember doing that class. Like they give you a class that's supposed to be self-paced, but then then you still have to, as nicely as I can put it, you still have to work towards the lowest common denominator. So they don't want that huge gap and make them feel some type of way about themselves. So they stagnate. Like you said, you'll get done, and then that unfortunately that lowest common denominator might be. You might be stuck. He or she might be stuck somewhere, and that's not necessarily their fault, but it does kind of take the wind out of your sails, not being able to just complete the task and move on, and then just sit there idle. Like, cause I mean, I can tell that about y'all already. Y'all don't do idle. Y'all don't just sit there and do anything. Y'all find something to do.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what are your plans for college? Because, Ricky, it looks like you're about 11th, 12th grade.
I'm in the 12th grade. Yes, my plans for college is, right here in the business, we still need help. I was thinking about going to a 4-year institution, but, the problem is, if I leave them here, it's going to help them, For Troy, Troy's pretty close, but too, it's probably like a 40-minute drive to out there, So, my mom was like, you can go ahead, we can take care of it. I said no. And so I was thinking other options, I was probably thinking, help them for 2 years, make sure if the plans we dream of, the goals we had accomplished, they're accomplished, with the, 2 years. If I took in a community college, then yeah, my mom told me I can move to a different college, study what I wanted to do. Because I was thinking about, doing in business and economics and entrepreneurship, also want to get a degree in political science, also I always liked law school and all that, which, I don't know about that. That looks like not saying a lot of work, but, it is interested about it. I read about, I don't know if you ever read about the 40 Powers of Law book. I don't know if you ever seen it before.
No, I don't believe I've heard of that.
I recommend to read that book because, it shows a bunch of laws, it helps a lot of people who go to law school, learn about laws and everything. This interesting book, I had some guy, come up to the food truck and saw me reading. It's like, what are you reading about law? I'm like, I don't know. It seemed interesting,
This is America and it's a free country. What you getting off? Get off my back. I want to read my book.
That looks like a really good idea to get a PhD on, but I want to find out more. Like what degrees you gotta get in college first. To go to law school and everything. Because I'm probably thinking about being a legal assistant. Because we had a bilingual legal assistant. This was Rich Lopez. He passed away last month. Yeah, I think he had a heart attack in his work. He helped us out with this business. He was surprised. He gave me this idea. About business. Going to college. Going. You can get. Probably. Kind of like a legal assistant and everything. He was the only one. He helped many Hispanic people too. And there's nobody else to replace him.
No, they're all in Atlanta.
He did.
They're all at the ICE corporate offices in Atlanta. There's no bilingual any kind of lawyers over here.
You know,
Yeah, and then
he's actually a good inspiration too, because he was also a veteran too. He flew helicopters on war. I think during the Vietnam War too. He told me stories. He always had a helicopter sign, an airplane. That's all. You're in the Air Force. It's like, yeah, I was in the Air Force. He say he
Hey, so whatever y'all got like wrestling over there, I ain't getting on or nothing. But whatever you got wrestling over there, it's interfering with the mic.
Okay. Yeah, and so.
All right. Yeah. So continue. Go ahead.
Excuse me. You're cutting
I
off.
was just saying, like, y'all had something rustling over there, and like, oh, all right, that better?
You're cutting off.
Oh man.
this is better.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, no, that's good. Like, y'all just had something rustling in your mic. Yeah, I can hear you. Y'all hear me?
Yeah, that was our mother. But yeah, like for me, like I want to be a doctor and stuff. But then also like I kind of don't want to study like for another 12 years because I'm kind of tired of studying. But yeah, I also like have to make like arrangements and like and stuff I do, and sometimes I have to tell the teachers this and that. And well, most of them don't understand because I mean we run a business and then like there's no one else like to help our mom, and like we used to have all these friends supposedly, and like from other restaurants they say they would help us and stuff. But when they saw when we were like surpassing them and stuff, like they used to like say hello and stuff when we meet at the store. Now they just like turn their heads the other way, or they don't even talk to us. They blocked all of our numbers, and that like inspired us. I mean, making like restaurant owners do that who's like they've been open for like more than us. Well, I mean that's great, but also I mean they always said like do what makes you happier instead of like working like your butt off for something that you don't want, like waking up every morning like I hate this job and stuff. But I really enjoy cooking and stuff, so I'm not sure still about what I will do, but like being a doctor would be great.
Yeah, but my career, always, wanted to take care. I do see a lot of videos, financial stuff. I had a friend, his name is Noah Phillips. We were talking about, lottery and gambling, how it would benefit, many states like Texas. I mean, look at their schools. Florida too. I mean, they got nice schools. They get a lot of funding from the state, but all that comes from lottery and gambling. We're talking about, how would this impact in Alabama? It would be good for the economy at the same time, but also, tax rate would go up. I go to Texas. Last time I bought something, sales tax like 15%. In Houston, Texas. That's really high. I mean, Montgomery's probably like 11%. The thing is, we had lottery and gamblings in Alabama. Then how much help the roads. Many schools about it.
Yeah, because next year he's thinking about running for the town council and stuff. Because there's a lot of stuff you can do, but you just have to have like the right people to do it and stuff.
Yeah, gambling in the lottery is one of those weird ones. It does, in theory and in actuality, it does bring in those tax dollars, but it's kind of a poor people tax. Like it really it doesn't really necessarily bring that tax dollars in the best way. Yeah. But I hear what you're saying. Like there does need to be more money as far as like infrastructure wise, but gambling and the lottery, it's not necessarily one of the better ways.
I really want to choose, I want to work, for the government, financial, debts and budgeting, I always had, working probably in the Pentagon, doing the budgeting, or like work with the president, learn about stocks and everything. Because, I read books about stocks and everything, might know all the vocabulary for it, I'm still learning for it. I'm still trying to learn, all the percentages means and everything. Even people think, just because I read a book about stocks, you tell me, what does this thing means? What does this number mean? So I'm like, I'm not sure, man. Can you take a break, man? I'm still trying to learn what all these things mean. Some people say, read this book, I read all these books, but, all the vocabulary words they use in stocks or definitions or like what it means, I got to learn them too because, I mean, they said there's a job, you can work in the White House, I think it's an economicus, you can work in the White House, but also, I was planning, working for the state, probably like Alabama, doing that for it still, so I can stay home, take care of business too. Many people told me like, you know what, you should be like a politician or something. Like, I don't know about that,
Okay. Yeah, and
But no, if you want something about stocks, if you want that, there are 100,000 YouTube channels that are completely stock oriented. I myself have got 3 or 4 YouTubers I follow religiously. Open yourself a Robinhood account, throw in $10, $20 every week, and just let it run its course. In all honesty, you really don't even need to go to college. Like there was a Bloomberg article that I read where high school and college Robinhood people that like have just been sitting in the house during the pandemic have been outperforming the market. It's like, in all honesty, you don't need to go to college for a lot of the stuff. Like you said, Ricky, you wanted to go to get a bachelor's degree in business, in like business management and entrepreneurship. You don't really need to. You're already doing what they're going to college for. These people are going to college to learn how to open their own business instead of just doing it. You're doing that.
Like, I'm always questioning like my teachers, like, why I have to learn this, because I feel like the school systems, I'm not saying like corrupt, but I'm saying like they're just making you like learn all this stuff and memorize just yeah, so that way, like business people, like let's take the Tesla company and stuff, like they made that business, like Elon Musk, he didn't have a degree or anything, but yeah, all the people who work there have to have a degree and stuff. And so maybe that's mainly one of the parts that they won't teach you all this stuff. That's why you have to learn it by yourself, like all about like the stocks, taxes, and everything. That's maybe one of the main reasons.
Yeah, because also, I had many people, like
Robert. That's the engineers. Like you can't learn engineering off of YouTube. Like the people who've got like their degrees in engineering, yeah, you need a degree for an engineer. But to start a business, to run a business, to open up your own stock portfolio, you don't really need that. I spent 40 hours watching YouTube videos, and I mean, as long as the market's up, I'm up. Like, you just need to choose a stock. What companies are not going to fail? Walmart, Boeing, Delta, Amazon, and that's do you want to get a company that has dividends? So AT&T, their stock right now is about $25 a share. They pay you 7% in a dividend, so that's 7% of whatever their stock price is. They pay you out every 4 months. So that's 24% of that stock price they'll pay you every year. So in all honesty, you get $100,000, 4% of $100,000 times that by 4 by the quarterly dividend payout, you pay yourself back. Like you used to need a degree for this stuff, but it is so readily available online. It honestly, it doesn't even matter anymore. And then they're going to throw you in with coronavirus. They're going to throw you online classes anyway because they don't want you in the classroom. So y'all are over here, and I understand. I'd be in the same situation as you. You're like, how are we going to run the business? How am I going to go to Troy? Should I go to Wallace? Should I go to UAB? In all honesty, go where you want to and take the online class, because if you want my opinion and also the opinions I've seen of other people, a in-person diploma and an online diploma is pretty much going to be the same thing in the future. It's really like all these universities are just going to see, they're going to show in their reports. It's like, our enrollment was down a bit, but we don't have to run these multi-million-dollar campuses anymore. We don't have to pay this huge electric bill. We don't have to pay all these people to be here. We can actually pay them a little less just to sit in their house. Like, I wouldn't set anything in stone. It would be a smart idea. Just go to Wallace, go to somewhere else if you can, take your online classes, see what the next year and a half is, because it could go from anywhere to back where it was, or it could go a completely separate direction. All right, y'all can hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we're just waiting for you.
Okay, I was about to say, I think, yeah, no, rant's done. I thought I lost y'all there for a minute. So, what was it like for you, Ricky? What was it like? So I remember you saying California. It's like the difference between California and moving to Alabama. What was that like? Because I can only imagine like the cultural shock of just being someone who is, I'm sure, around like all these people speaking Spanish, all these different Hispanics, Mexican, Guatemalan, Puerto Ricans, all that. Like, and then it's white people. It's just a bunch of, it's like a bunch of white people now. And then they see you bringing these quesadillas to school, and they're just like, "Can I have one?" Like, what was that like? Because
Well,
that had to be off-putting just a bit. Like, you had to take you a minute to get your bearings.
when my parents moved here, they got surprised, city of Montgomery, there's not a bunch of skyscrapers, or Birmingham, that was big of, Los Angeles, San Francisco, when they moved here, they said it was much hotter here and humid, over there, it was hot, it was dry, barely even rain, but it was cold. It
You
was
got
really
that ocean breeze cooling you down.
And the thing is, my friend said, over there, you got Spanish services, everywhere you go, they talk to you in Spanish and English. Here, they had a harder time because you went to Walmart to speak nothing but English. You know, many people, like in around 2000, 5, there were not, there was barely any, Hispanic people, Latino people, kids that were in high school ready to graduate, taking a job to translate. None of them were there because mostly all of them were probably still like 7 years old or 5 years old of age. I mean, because the president, he was born in the year 2000 when he was like 5. He said there were barely even Hispanic people going to high school because there were not many. And so the thing is, when they moved here to Alabama, once they got into here more into more rural, you saw nothing but farmers,
Yeah, and like the amount of space you get, like for a space like this, I mean, you get so much land. In contrary to California, where like you can pay like $100,000 and they give you like a single, I mean, maybe a park.
Oh, you get a 2-bedroom house with like 2 acres.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like here, I mean, you can have like as many acres as you want, like, and it's better. But yeah, like I'm not trying to be like racist or something, but yeah, like at our school, I would call it like in just about an all-white school because I mean that's all there is. But I learned a lot of stuff like from my friends because I mean down here, especially like in the South, you know, I mean seeing all these people working like as well, like some of my bestest friends like the farmers because I mean I like the way they work. They don't like keep asking like other people for help. Unlike some,
they know what hard work is like, but also they're really respectful people down here. The teaching matters here, but the most thing what many immigrants you need to know before they come here is like discipline and respect when you come to this country. And really good manners. But many people high school, like they're farmers and everything. People out of my class, they sometimes get up at the same time I get up, but they go outside. I go outside too, but I go back inside the kitchen. They go outside all day long. But the thing is, they don't complain about anything. I mean, it's really surprising. Now, some of them, farmer kids, some of them like 7 years old come to the food truck here and they get 4 steak tacos all the way. I mean, who sees a kid, he gets 4 steak tacos with cilantro and onions.
Yeah, like one of my friends, like he said he would never eat cilantro and onions. And so recently, because I'm like, try this, and like he wouldn't try it because it has cilantro and onions. They were my tacos. He ended up eating all of them.
Yeah, white people.
Yep. And
Yeah,
like one time,
that's what it is. It's like I don't want this, that, or the other.
yeah, I was pressured by my whole class to bring them cheese dip, just because they wanted it. And, like it was so good and stuff.
It was really pressured. My whole class wanted it, but you're not gonna give me this time, Even though my class will go inside my brother's, classroom, since now you're allowed to eat inside your classroom, during this pandemic. Thing is, some of my friends will go inside the classroom, try to find it, but by the time they get there, it's gone. So, I mean, they'll try to pressure me, but like, no.
Wait, they're trying to get your food?
Yeah, that's trying to say. I mean, how hard is it? I mean, you can go to Roadies and pay for it. I mean, how hard is it? Go up here town, you just go get yourself something to eat instead of driving all the way to Ozark.
And what makes me like really glad is when I see my friends and they have like our chips and then like our food. especially our chips. They say it's like the best chips they've ever had and stuff. Like they always makes me glad
Yeah.
because I see a
Right.
bag of chips. I'm like, hey, are those ours? I'm like, yeah, I made them and stuff. And it always makes me glad like having like our friends and stuff to support us. But, yeah, like I'm like, is it good? I always tell them like, how does it taste when they reheat the food? Because I'm not really like a person who reheats food. I like it like all fresh. Like anything my mom makes, like she makes it a certain amount.
It gets really aggravating, when you put something, reheat something. Mostly like tacos. I mean, I never tried reheated tacos. I ask people, how they like. They say it's good, but I'm like, I don't know because even a quesadilla.
It ain't good though.
might be a little soggy, like though. But yeah, it always makes me glad.
Like I remember, like the air fryer we got. I remember getting an air fryer and got some KFC. Brought that home, put it in the air fryer. It tastes better than the actual KFC. I was like, maybe it'll work. It's air fryer witchcraft on your food. And it's like, no, it's better. It's better fresh. I'm just gonna eat the whole thing. I can't just eat half of it and then just be where I'm at.
I'm pretty sure like a lot of people, a lot of adults were surprised to see me cooking their food, and like I always get compliments from a lot of older people like saying like they wish their grandson would do this and stuff, and because I mean they say that like they're sitting around the house and I'm over here working like cooking food, and they're always one time this lady asked me if I could bring out someone else to cook the food. I'm like, ma'am, I'm the only cook there is, and then she tried our food. Now she comes really often. I won't say any names, but yeah.
Yeah, but also,
Ooh, yeah.
Prior.
So she wanted someone else to cook your because she didn't think you were capable?
Mm-hmm. Because I was a...
No. I hate that.
Yeah, and like...
but yeah, no.
I would be the only cook, and just see me through the windows, and I would have so many notes, and yeah, I'd still take them and stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like a hibachi restaurant, cook, does all those tricks. Even though we're trying to learn some people tricks, but, somebody came up to us just like, said, man, y'all tend faster than McCall's and those hibachi cookers right there. One time last week, somebody told me, he's like, I think you're better, I think you're faster than Hibachi Joe and Dufton. I don't know about that. I've seen his Facebook page. I mean, he does some good skills and everything. That's probably another thing. Next time I go to Dufton, I want to go try there, but every single time I go there, I have, limited time. I got to go to Sam's, get my stuff. I barely get something barely to eat, on the way back. But right now, next time I go, I'm like, I got to try, I got to stop by. Just like many business people have businesses, like they say, they pass my truck, they have the intention, I got to try it. So the same thing for me. They always tell me, it's like, just because you got a business, you always got to support other businesses. So the thing is, when somebody told me about that, it's like, next time, every single time I go to Dove, I keep telling them, I got to try it, I got to try it. Same thing when people go here, like the some people owners, from factories, the quality fat, like Mr. Jericho, he said he passed the line, he wants to go home and rest, but, one time, he said he had to try it one time, and he liked it, and, once in a while, when he comes here and makes a big order, his sons make orders, all his family members. But yeah, same thing for farmers, who in a rush, they always say the same thing. They got to try, when the day they have, they say, oh, what the heck, 15 minutes of my time is worth, I got to try it out, But also, we're really fast, in the kitchen, Some people sometimes get scared, like, why are y'all yelling at each other? I'm like, well, I mean, it's leadership. I mean, we got to keep moving.
Yeah, and some of the things that make me mad is that when I'm over there, like, because there's a little spot where you can like just stand, but they can't see you, and so they always is always the one giving out their food, like when their order's ready, and it makes me mad because they're always saying "good food, Rike," when in reality I'm the one cooking, and stuff when you barely. Yeah.
But I still give them credit, man. When I said, don't thank me, and said, thank you to both of us. I mean, because we're right here, skipping homework and everything. We did homework after we finished. They said, that's it. They said, y'all some supportive brothers of each other. They said, y'all fight. Somebody told me, he said, y'all fight. He said, of course we do. Like, every brothers, they always got to fight.
Yeah, because we always have a disagreement between one another. Like me, I know how to do every single thing.
You can live
Yeah, because we had two chicken farmers that were brothers. One was older than the other one, and they were like surprised, like, "You ever fight or something?" I said, "Yeah, I mean, every brother fights." Okay, good. We just wanted to make sure we were not the only grown, adult brothers that still fight to this day, even though they're adults. They're like in their 40s or 50s, and they're still. The last time they were like, fighting over each other, like who gets their food first. They even betted money outside the truck about who gets their food first. I think one of them, the youngest one, got it first, and they were like complaining about, fighting outside. Oh yeah, we also got people, coming from we had one person coming from Guntersville. He said he went to the beach and he was coming back. That his uncle lives here. He bought them some food and it was good, so they wanted to try it. And they said it was worth driving down to Florida and coming back, visit his uncle. It was worth it, stopping by here. That day they took like 8 burritos, 8 quesadillas back over there. And they said the good thing they kept them in the warm and it was still fresh when they got there. And they said that they saved the burrito for lunchtime up there because he worked, I think, at some kind of factory. He was some kind of manager up there. And he said that one of his friends took a bite off his lunch. His friend wanted to know where you got this, tasty burrito. He said down South Alabama, for 5 hours drive. And the next weekend they come back and they bring half of his some of his coworkers and his boss too to come eat there. They drove literally 5 hours just to get all the way over here. I had people drive from New Orleans, Louisiana, who come visit family members. Those people that come from Louisiana, food trucks too. So, like New Orleans, how they have the Mardi Gras, festival. They sell like Philly cheesesteaks and everything. Some of them have like gumball and everything. They'll ask me, for seafood, like shrimp or anything like that. We sometimes have them on Saturdays, fajitas and everything. We have people I have an old couple that comes from Albany, Georgia. I mean, every once a month they come over here, they eat. They said it's like probably the best. It's better than going to the beach. They said they can find some good food. I mean, they're like 70 years old and they drive like 6 hours to Ariton once a month. We have seen people from Orlando.
And the furthest person we have is a guy from like California.
California.
Yeah, he came all the way over there because he said, he was taking like a trip, and that he heard about us. That we're just about same way like California.
He searched up in Google a taco place. He searched up taqueria in Alabama where he was at, and he was in Dothan. And Google search when pulled up the page or Rike's Tacos Facebook page. He looked at the food and he said, "What was our address?" And I told him. And so he drove, 45 minutes from Dothan to get here. And he's like, "Is this y'all?" He's like, "Yes, sir, we are." He said, "Wait, so y'all telling me you're busy?" Inside, he said, "So you're telling me you're busy in this little town?" Like, you're busy in California in the street in the boulevard. He's like, "This is surprising." He said, "They're finding a food truck here. When you see like you're in California, Hispanic society, they're all over the place. And here you only find the main one that's good. It's number one recommended in Google." I mean, I'm telling you, you go to Facebook, you try to tag a Mexican restaurant, the first option going to appear is Rike's Tacos, even though people don't believe me. You go to Google, search up Mexican food near you. If you're like an Ozark, search up, you type in taco, it's going to search, and it's just going to search up, Rike's Tacos. First thing it's going to tell you, Facebook page, address, and everything. I didn't know about that, but the thing is, once you have many people commenting, reviews in Google, Google's like trying to help you out at the same time. Another first person we had was probably from, what was it? Oh, South Carolina. It was a Puerto Rican family. They said they were looking for some good food, and they said they searched in their Google engine. They said it was here. And they said if this is the place, it was the best place, to vibe. I don't know, they were kind of like, there were people, who were happy the whole time. And he told me they have some spicy sauce and everything. So I gave him the spicy sauce I have, and they said that this is much spicier than the sauce he have ever ate in a Mexican restaurant. Pretty sure you've been tried the spicy sauce before.
Yeah, no, it's there. Because like a lot of spicy sauces that y'all have is that they're not really like authentic spicy sauces. They're like dialed down a bit for the majority clientele. It ain't really like spicy.
When we used to go to Clow, we made our green sauce a bit spicier than it was because we mostly have a lot of Mexicans go down there and they're always saying, "Why isn't the sauce spicy?" So we made it a little bit spicy, and so like when people tell me like spicy, I'm like, "Are you sure it's spicy?" Because for me, nothing's spicy. I mean, when I like taco, there's another sauce that my mom has that's like really
it's a dry
spicy.
sauce.
Yeah, and so I like cover it all on my taco, like it's swimming in it, and and I eat it. And I mean, I'm probably immune to spicy food. I don't know because it never like.
Yeah.
People always like make it spicy, and then
we gave it a little bit on a little cup, a 1 ounce cup. It was barely a tab of it. He said it smelled like barbecue sauce. He said he put a little bit on. He said his mouth was on fire. He said this. He had a friend. He said he had a friend. He put it all over his hamburger. They were grilling burgers that day, so they wanted some sauce and guacamole, and so gave him some green sauce, some of the other spice sauce. Then he wanted something really spicy. He said that his cousin. He said that he can handle anything spicy, so I gave him that. He said his cousin was crying. He said he was begging for milk the whole day. I mean, he thought I was gonna give him like Tabasco sauce or anything like that. No, this sauce is like on a literally dry, like it's fried, then it's milled on a mortar. Then you let it rest. The longer it ages, the more spicier it gets.
yeah.
Max age is probably like a year. That's when it expires. But it's always, once it's fresh, it's not spicy at all. You let it sit for a week, it starts to kick in. Many people think it smells like barbecue sauce, but once they touch it, they're like, forget about it. They throw the food away. I had somebody who had to throw the burrito away because it was too spicy.
Yeah, and the guy said he now keeps it like as a souvenir.
Yeah.
And he said it just sits in the middle of the table, like reminding him. Like he says now he said his tongue's scared to try anything spicy. Now he's like eat his tacos with like hot sauce. Now he won't eat them anymore, so he just eats them like that because he's scared that because he said like it like burned his tongue and everything.
It's like it gave his tongue PTSD.
Yeah, and so like when people like tell me like here's some, they say here's some hot sauce and they like pass me some vinegar, like like Louisiana Pete's and all that. I'm like no, that's not hot sauce and stuff, but yeah.
Another thing is, I had this whole town, I taught them how to eat spicy sauce, about every Saturday he asked for the spicy sauce. Weekdays he asked for the green sauce, but I think, since many people drink, they want the spicy sauce on Friday nights and Saturdays and Sundays. And the first time we got here, many people did not want to try the sauce, anything. And, then many people who come, like, out of town in Dothan, they want to try the spicy sauce. The next time they come, they want that spicy sauce again. They said it's good, it has flavor. It ain't spicy without flavor. But they said they just like because it has flavor at the same time, and it's burning your mouth at the same time. That's what you want. And, they like that sensation too.
Yeah, but also a lot of people when they call, like I've memorized so many voices and stuff and like so many phone numbers, and so they're calling and they're like they ask me why I don't hear their name anymore because I'm like I tell them I know who they are and stuff. There's a lot of people who go there often a lot, so like you call or something, I'm like okay I know who it is, and so sometimes we know like they don't eat this or that and like or they're allergic to this and stuff, and so like yeah we know we're a lot of people now. We've made a lot of friends, and especially over here in this little town.
Yeah, another thing is good thing about this town too. First time we started selling, we got really busy one day. People, they didn't learn what patience mean. But now they learn that the food is good and it's worth it. Your time waiting 20 minutes, you learn that it's better to be patient. You know what you're getting for the price. So we got people from Dothan or Troy, and they're coming. One time we did in Troy and it was a disaster. I mean, we had calls and calls and calls, and the whole truck was full of notes because everybody wanted to eat lunch.
Yeah, and so like we had like maybe like a couple reviews of like saying like it was the first time I'm going to try, and they say that they're already packed. We had maybe 80 something orders, and I mean to cook that in a flat grill, 36-inch flat grill, there's not really much that you can do. Like before, when we first opened, like 15 minutes seemed a long time for us to get food, and one time our waiting time was almost an hour and a half. I'm like, yes, that's fine, that is terrific. Like, like they were still glad that they could eat our food and stuff.
But now, since we're like here most of the time, when people from Troy come here, and the town folks are here waiting outside, they say, "How long is it going to take?" And they tell them, "Don't worry about it. What it matters is that it's worth it coming down here." And that's a good thing about about people from here. They don't answer no more answers. They just say, "Just don't worry about it." That's all they say to everybody. Like the only answer.
That's good.
Last time I heard someone, don't worry about it, man. You stay here. Don't worry about the time. There's always time in life. And he said, it's worth buying your food here. That teaches other people from other parts, if you're going to come here, you got to be sure what you're getting for and it's worth it. That's a good thing. Ozark, too, many people understand now, they say the same thing to other people in the city. If you're gonna come here, you better be sure you have patience, because don't worry about the time, but you know it's worth it.
Yeah, because I mean, I've learned how to make a burrito in under 30 seconds if you come at the right time. Because if I have, like, some people, like, they're surprised and like, okay, and they'll say, I'll say like the amount of time, because I gotta give them time too. So like, I added like another couple minutes to the time, so that way he can have enough time to put the food in the bag and stuff. But they're always surprised when I tell them like when it's a short amount of time. But like anytime you order quesadilla, I mean, it's automatically 8 or more minutes because it has to melt and stuff on the grill. But yeah.
Yeah, no, like, yeah, definitely. I really am. Like, I'm not surprised at all that, like, some people, like, want y'all to, like, well, what's taking so long? Because we're so used to all these, like, Taco Bell, McDonald's. It's like they have the food ready. It's on a warmer. It's been out there for about an hour or so. And just you roll it up and get it out the window. There's not really, like, cooked food anymore. It's all that pre-cooked, reheat process stuff. But that's definitely not what y'all got going on over there.
Yeah.
So, what would y'all say is one of the main differences between a restaurant and a taco truck? Like, what does it take to get that kind of stuff started? Like, regardless of if it's a restaurant or a taco truck, like financials. I'm not asking for like exactly how much, but like financials, health department, just how it goes. Like, tell me what that process is, like getting it started.
Restaurants and food trucks, the first process you gotta go through is the financial process. You know, once you get past through that, you know that's gonna be the greatest relief.
Yeah, because you gotta make sure, like, just in case something goes bad, you have like all this backup money, just in case.
Because you don't want to put in all your life savings. Unless the greatest error people do, put life savings. You should never do that. Because it always takes time, to get to your success. And, people's on this rush. Some people don't understand that, but after you get that, the next greatest relief is getting your LLC, and then the next after that one is signing up for your tax numbers, your tax exempt number, which takes a week to get approved by the state. Then you got to make an account to pay your state taxes. Then you got to make another account to another website where you pay your county, city taxes too. And that takes about a week for them to approve it. They require you. Before you do that now, you got to first go through the health department, get your food permits and your score and send them up to the tax revenue, company to see that you're actually operating the business. And then after that, you're ready to go. But the thing is, in restaurants is, the time management. And the time management is that the restaurants, you have more plates. You have, sometimes the only thing I did not like about restaurants I've gone to before, that some restaurants put so many plates, but when they give you the plate, it's the exact same plate as other plates. That's the problem many restaurants should do.
Yeah,
They should manage that problem because they have so many plates, and your chance to rename of the same food.
Yeah, all it is, maybe they like add an onion and like maybe this other plate they take it out, or they add like one little green bean or something. And that's
like
it.
You go to a restaurant, they probably have like 20 shrimp plates. In the Mexican kitchen, you're supposed to only have 10 shrimp plates. That's it. You're not supposed to have any more because the 10 original shrimp plates for 10 original. If you add more, it's because you're mixing in with other culture stuff. You're not supposed to, many authentic restaurants do that, but technically you're not supposed to. But, maximum shrimp plates in the Mexican culture is only 10. The maximum is like 12, but over that you cannot go. And seafood plates too, maximum is 15 plates they have in total. And for like grilled steaks and everything, there's about, it's supposed to be, there's no limit for that because you get in grilled steaks from every part of the cow. That's the point of it. You got flank steaks, you got ribeye steaks, you got New York strips, you got chuck rolls sometimes, sirloin, anything. Same thing for the fajitas and chicken though. And the other thing is the waiting time. You got to be sit down. And the thing is in the food truck, your waiting time is less, but your food is not the same thing. Your restaurants, you get your rice and beans, for free with no charge. The thing is, it's because it's for you to make you happier because of their waiting time they have. But like in a food truck, all the items are sold separately. Let's see, if it was to be a hamburger food truck, you only wanted a hamburger, it would be like $8. You want it with fries, it would be $10. It's not like McDonald's, you go get a combo for $7.56 total tax, $8.64 with burger, fries, and drink. That's the restaurant method, to make you happier because you're waiting more longer. In a food truck, you're not waiting as long, so you gotta, and the other thing is, food truck, you gotta make people come here because, the products you're selling individually are being cooked in front of you. You're not being hitting or anything like that. That's the thing, why it's sold separately, sometimes the price changes too. In a food truck, it's mobile. You can go anywhere, show off your food whenever you want. A restaurant's more permanent. But, when having a restaurant, your food has to be good at the same time. You're to upset a customer, and it's more busy, in a restaurant. If a customer does not like his food, you have to have a response, immediate for that. In the food truck, nobody, they say don't want your food. If you have the meats ready, you can repair it for them. But in the restaurants, it's so busy, it's going to take them probably like another 20 minutes to prepare your food over again. In a food truck, it's going to take you like 15 minutes to do it over again. The thing is, somebody says complain, you added onions. Well, like I said, my response would be, trust me, you won't regret it. You got to try it. It's that, I had a customer say that to me. You know what? I think you're right. Forget about it. I'm going to try it right here. So he tried it in front of me. Like, you know what? You were right. This is good. In the restaurant, it's harder because you got a bunch of, what if, that person complains and there's video recording. Well, the thing is, you got to come with a quick response. When you own a restaurant, I've seen many problems with restaurant owners and managers is when they call over the manager must be prepared to answer any kind of question. You always got to see the errors of your kitchen, what's happening, and, the mistakes. If you don't see those, you won't be able to respond properly. Also in a restaurant, it requires license are more expensive in restaurants. You gotta have alcohol. When you put alcohol in, the state requires a separate tax. Believe it or not, they don't want to be in the same tax. That mostly restaurants, some restaurants, most likely to close because the financial problems. Sometimes they hire too many employees. Some of the employees don't do their work. Some of them do. Another thing is, they gotta be if they're gonna rent. The prices have to be a little bit higher because of the rent and the employees they have to pay too. Always to be honest, before you open a business, it's better to buy your own place or build your own place. But if you're in a hurry,
Yeah, like
if you're in a hurry, then rent one. But if you're gonna be renting it, you're gonna be saving up at the same time to own your own place instead of renting. Sometimes I always recommend, it's always to wait. But if you want to move on, I do recommend renting and then buying the place if you want to. But it's either option what you want to do. Another thing in the food truck, the prices, sometimes it goes up or down, due to the meat prices. It's been a problem since this pandemic. Many people don't like the price of a steak taco. It's $3, but the thing is, the meat we get. It used to be. The thing is $2 the difference what the price used to be now. It's really high. So I have to charge that kind of price because if we don't, we win nothing out of the box of case that we went and bought, spent money on. Same thing for restaurants. I think the problem is with them too is their meats. Sometimes they try to lower the prices too during this pandemic too, which is right now during this pandemic. It's really affecting us because I heard many restaurants like exponential lowering the price of quesadillas and nachos. I heard like they had nachos for $5, and I'm getting mine at a reasonable price, but what you're getting for it. That's been affecting me a lot since the governor said restaurants are allowed to open back again. But the thing is, they had to fire employees too. They got to fire all the waitresses. The only people working in the restaurant are the cooks, cashiers, and the manager. Probably some of the cooks got to be waitresses, attend the people. The owners of the restaurants got to make the effort, so they won't lose their businesses at all. Many business like I seen another business, think about opening a food truck, but the thing is, they got no experience about moving paperwork. The thing is, like me, if I wanted to open a restaurant, I know what the deal is. I know what kind of paper we need. You know, all the important stuff you need. You got to contact the health inspector all the time when you're going to open somewhere else. Your equipment, what you're going to need, how much power of, of gas pressure you need, what appliances you need that's going to make you, work faster and more efficient. Find new ways, because when you put your appliances down, like your stove, you got to put them
in certain
in
order.
certain places that's going to make your time more efficient, much faster. Same thing. It's kind of what McDonald's does, when they do, when they develop in the kitchen. They were not just gonna put the grill over here, the fryer over here. They gotta set it up somewhere, and they had to train the employees, kind of like a true scenario, how will they move around, make sure they don't bump into each other or anything like that.
Yeah,
In a food truck, you do the same thing as restaurants do. But, and for a restaurant person who owned a restaurant the whole time, they probably not have an experience, what requires for a food truck. Online to find what requires for a food truck, online doesn't give you that much stuff because, there's more paperwork, a lot of things, when you move somewhere, let's say if I wanted to go to Troy, I had to contact Pike County Health Department, but I'm not going to be coming over there. Or like coming to Ozark, Dow County, I don't got to contact Dow County Health Department. I can just tell the city, hey, I'm going to be here. Do I have to charge for any tax? Anything like that. See, the many restaurant owners don't know about that. Other thing is that when on a food truck, they have to have a commissary. For restaurant owners, it'll probably be easier for them because they'll use their own restaurant for that. But the thing is, they got to find people to work in a food truck. They got to work, they got to know how to work with a window wide open, people seeing you, to not be shy or anything to you. Because to be honest, my brother probably felt, really embarrassed, people seeing him behind his back and him, thinking about, man, what if he sees me, if I drop something or like if I made a mistake on his food. That's probably the thing, many restaurant owners don't train their employees to do. If I was to have a restaurant, I'll have a place, where you can see the kitchen and everything, everything's prepared. Also I will teach my employees, not to be ashamed of themselves, teach them, to have confidence in themselves behind their back, to always be confident, to trust themselves that the people are seeing them, to trust in you, trusting on you on their food and that you're taking care of it for them, you know. But both of them really work out, but still, online, over the internet, food trucks are most likely, people to go on them because some of them just want to go home instead of sitting at a restaurant, with other people seeing them highly eat or anything like that. But yeah, that's about it. There's the differences between them, but both of them run good revenue for the government. They have no issues at all. But most likely, both of them have a great issue to make sure, the foodborne illnesses or anything like that. They gotta make sure the food is being prepared, at the exact temperature and everything. That's about it.
All right, and the one thing I can tell you about any restaurant owner will tell you is that the prices on the equipment, because you have to get certain equipment, and it's ridiculous. I mean, the amount that they make you pay, but I mean, it has to be, certified for the people, like, so you won't do anything. Like, you can't have any wood or anything. I mean, also it's more convenient because I mean, you're not going to use like a regular gas stove, and when you have to make like food and stuff, like you have to have the BTU, and the BTU is like the amount like of
Gas
flame
pressure.
gas pressure
If you
comes
go
out.
to, I don't know, ever went to like Great Wall in Ozark, if you've seen their stove right there, it looks like a dang jet right there. You've seen that flame like a torch, you know. That's actually, people say, how do you not burn the food?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is that they're cooking so much food that the food cools down that flame, and it cools down I mean, the
The
pot.
surface of metal,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, the surface of the panel, so it's not burning up the food. The same thing, restaurants use the same, exact jet pressure, gas stoves. Some other restaurants, that cook like for breakfast and anything, they don't use those because, breakfast, it's not the same thing as cooking heavy foods, which, like those kind of stoves are a little bit more expensive because, you're working mostly Mexican restaurants have those. Some of them don't because of the price. But if you know your restaurant and your brand and your food is really popular and really tastes good, you're gonna have people. If you're expecting the amount of people gonna come in your restaurant, then yeah, you gotta invest. One of those those jet pressure ones. But really worth it. I see them. With those kind of stuff. You don't play around. I have seen instructions on YouTube. This is like with those stuffs. You gotta be careful. Make sure the spark is on the. Before if the gas. If it's not igniting, you got to make sure you contact somebody who can help you, like the manager, how to turn on the stove and anything, because those things shoot out so much gas, and they see a spark or anything, that thing is going to like explode, anything like that. You know, that's about it.
Hmm. So I've been made aware with the pandemic and everything that even with a full house, like at a constant full house, completely booked, a restaurant's profit margins are only at about 10%. And that's one of the main reasons why they're shutting down like they are. Is that something that you would, is that about where y'all are at with about where you are normally with profit margins, and how has the pandemic affected you, positively or negatively?
It has actually increased a lot, because I mean, people are staying at home. There's no restaurants, and I mean, you have to have like a window,
Yeah.
so you and stuff, and so I mean, a food trucks is like especially good. So I mean, a lot of people, we had calls like at around 9. I mean, people were placing the orders already, and like we weren't even open yet. We were still turning on the grilled stuff, and the thing is, like, there's so many people at home, and like they need somewhere to eat, because a lot of people don't like cooking in the morning or cooking. Some days you feel like you're not gonna cook. Like it's that one lazy day, and so you come, and they used to come over here and like eat a lot, and so actually increased, because that made our like Facebook page go like from like 200 followers right into like 3,000 followers, and like
Y'all exploded
in a couple weeks. I mean, a lot of people ate there. They told about everybody else, and like since like they didn't have to worry about the work, because they had that thing, and so I mean they could come down here like at any time and stuff. But now, since their work's like 30 minutes away from where we're at, I mean that doesn't give them enough time to go and like eat their lunch.
Yeah.